You ever feel like you're living someone else's nightmare? That's exactly how I felt the day I realized my house wasn't just haunted, it was cursed. And the worst part, the curse wasn't content with lurking in the shadows anymore. No, the house had turned its attention to me. The haunting didn't ease up after I found the word leave scrawled in blood-red streaks across the wall. If anything, it became relentless. Shadows danced just out of sight. Whispers called my name in the stillness of night, and doors slammed shut as though the house itself was alive, angry. One evening, as Bella and I sat in the living room trying to act like everything was normal, the TV flickered. Static erupted across the screen, the sound grating and unnatural. I reached for the remote to turn it off, but then, through the static, a face appeared. A man's face. His hollow eyes bored into mine, and his grin. It wasn't human. It was wide, jagged, and filled with malice, as though he was daring me to stay. Bella gasped, clutching my arm, but before I could say anything, the image disappeared, leaving us in suffocating silence. Terrified and unable to bear it alone any longer, I grabbed my phone and called my mom. My voice was trembling as I spilled everything. The whispers, the shadows, the blood-red message on the wall, and the face in the static. She listened in silence, and when I finished, her voice was firm, almost commanding. "Stay right there," she said. "Don't touch anything. Don't open any doors. I'm coming over with Pastor Aguiman. Do not do anything until we get there." The line went dead, but her words hung heavy in the air. My heart was racing, but a part of me felt relieved. Mom wasn't the type to take these things lightly. And Pastor Aguiman? He was known in our community as the man you called when the unseen became unbearable. By the time my mother and the pastor arrived, the house felt suffocating. The air was thick, the shadows seemed alive, and even Bella looked uneasy. My mother walked in holding a small Bible and a bottle of anointing oil, her lips moving in silent prayer. "Let's begin," Pastor Aguiman said, his voice calm yet commanding, the kind of voice that could cut through chaos. As he prayed, the house responded. The walls groaned, as if under immense pressure, and the lights flickered violently. A bone-chilling wind swept through the room, though every window and door was firmly shut. Bella sat beside me, clutching my hand so tightly I winced. Her grip was cold, unnaturally cold, and then it happened. Bella let out a low, guttural growl that froze the blood in my veins. Her body began to convulse, her movements jerky and unnatural, like a marionette on broken strings. Her eyes rolled back, and when they opened again, they were pitch black, reflecting nothing but void. "You dare bring him here?" A voice snarled. Not Bella's voice, but something deep and monstrous, reverberating through her small frame. Pastor Aguiman didn't flinch. He stepped forward, his Bible held high, his words unwavering. "Who are you, spirit? By whose authority do you claim this place?" Bella's, "No, its," lips twisted into a cruel, mocking smile. "I am Isaac," it hissed, the sound laced with malice. "This is my house. You are trespassers, and none of you are welcome here." The laugh that followed wasn't human. It was dark and guttural, a sound that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The room grew colder, the air heavier, and I realized then that we were up against something far more dangerous than I had imagined. Through Pastor Aguiman's relentless prayers, the spirit that had claimed Bella began to speak. Its voice was raw with fury, but beneath the anger, there was something else, a deep, festering pain. "I was Isaac," it growled, the words dragging through the air like chains. "This was my home, my family, my life." The story it told was one of betrayal and unimaginable cruelty. Isaac had been a wealthy businessman who built the house for his wife Bella and their twin boys. For a time their life was idyllic, until Bella grew restless. She began an affair with the man next door, and together they hatched a sinister plan to rid themselves of Isaac. One night, Isaac's voice hissed. As I slept peacefully under the roof I built for them, they drugged me. They dragged me to the attic, my attic, and slaughtered me like an animal. I tried to protect my sons, but they silenced them too. My boys. The walls trembled, as if echoing his agony. Isaac continued, his tone darkening. They buried us beneath the floorboards, erasing us from the world. And she wept crocodile tears, telling everyone I had abandoned my family. While she mourned in the light, she celebrated in the shadows, moving in with her lover next door. Their plan was simple: sell both houses and flee to paradise, spending my wealth in Hawaii. Bella's body convulsed violently, her face twisted with torment. Isaac's voice deepened, laced with unrelenting rage. But I wouldn't let her go. Her betrayal tied her here to me, and I made sure her lover felt the wrath of my justice. She belongs to me now. She can never leave, and no one will ever take her place. Suddenly, Bella's voice broke through, fragile and desperate, fighting against the spirit. He killed my lover, she sobbed, her words fleeting like a gasp of air. He turned me into his prisoner. I'm trapped. Her face contorted as though two forces were warring within her, one crying out for freedom and the other drowning it in fury. The room grew colder, the lights dimmer, and the house itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. The pastor's prayers grew louder, each word like a hammer striking against an unseen force. In the name of the Almighty, I command you, Isaac, to leave this house and rest, Bella screamed, her voice a terrifying blend of her own and Isaac's, a chilling duet of anguish and rage. The house erupted in chaos. Furniture hurled itself across the room, windows shattered as if imploding from within, and an oppressive darkness consumed every corner. The air was thick, suffocating, as if the house itself were alive and fighting to keep its terrible secrets hidden. With one final, deafening roar, Isaac's presence exploded outward, a shockwave of cold air rushing through the room. Bella collapsed, her body limp on the floor, gasping for air like she had just surfaced from drowning. The silence that followed was deafening. But the pastor didn't stop. He stood, resolute, and motioned for us to follow him to the attic. My legs trembled as we climbed the creaking stairs, the air growing heavier with each step. At the center of the attic, Pastor Agyeman poured anointing oil over the floorboards, his prayers steady and unyielding. Suddenly, the wood beneath us groaned and splintered, cracking open to reveal a horrifying sight. Skeletal remains curled together in eternal anguish. Isaac and his sons, tears streamed down my face as I realized the truth of his story, the weight of his rage and sorrow. The police were called, and Bella, pale and trembling, confessed everything. She told them of the affair, the murder, and the lies she'd lived for years. When the authorities dug deeper, literally, they uncovered her lover's remains buried in the garden next door. The evidence was irrefutable. Bella was arrested, her crimes laid bare for all to see. As the bodies were carefully exhumed and taken away, Pastor Agyeman stood beside me, his voice calm but firm. "The truth always comes to light," he said, "even when it's buried deep." For the first time since I moved into that house, the air felt lighter, the oppressive weight gone. But as I watched the police cars drive away, I couldn't shake the feeling that Isaac's story wasn't just a haunting, it was a warning. A reminder of what happens when betrayal and greed are left to fester. I sold the house as soon as I could, eager to put the nightmare behind me. With the money, I moved far away, determined to start fresh in a quiet little apartment where nothing could remind me of what I'd lived through. But sometimes, in the dead of night, when the world is silent and still, I hear them, faint whispers. They drift through the darkness, soft and insistent, calling my name. I tell myself it's just my mind playing tricks on me, scars from a trauma too deep to forget. But deep down, I know the truth. Some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. At least that's what I tell myself.
Would you stay in a house with a history this dark, or would you leave at the first sign of trouble? Let us know in the comments below. Hi fam, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed the story. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of your favorite African folktales. Until next time, it's bye from us at Apenthene African Stories.